The content of this program represents the opinions, research, and observation of the host and his assessment of scientific evidence available at this time. None of the statements, claims, techniques, dietary guidelines, or supplements mentioned in this program have been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The information contained herein is for educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for standard care provided by medical practitioners. Any application of the advice presented here is at the listener's own discretion or risk. The information should not be used for self-diagnosis or application. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before beginning any new nutritional, exercise, or lifestyle improvement program. The host and this station disclaim any responsibility for any adverse effects arising from the use or application of information contained in this program. Now broadcasting from his nutritional command center deep in the heart of Victoria, Texas, charging through the swamp of misconceptions, deception, and myths, bringing to you the newest cutting-edge scientific-based nutrition information so you can enjoy whole spectrum health. Here's the paladin of nutrition and whole foods expert, Labron Allen.
Well, good morning. It's Saturday, March the 24th, 2012, and we have a big show this morning, so grab your cup of coffee and get ready to listen in. First of all, let me talk about the upcoming free health seminars that we have. The next one will be this coming Tuesday, actually, March the 27th at 7 p.m. Remember, it is always at the Hampton Inn on North Navarro. On the right-hand side, just before you get to the overpass. And this Tuesday evening seminar will be on how to support your heart, cholesterol, and blood pressure naturally. You know that heart, cholesterol, and blood pressure problems are actually your body's desperate cries for help. Now, that's kind of a different way of looking at it because most individuals think that that's actually, a disease issue. Of course, it is a disease issue, but once those kinds of symptoms start showing up, it's actually a sign that for a long period of time, there have already been processes at work that really need to be addressed. So we, during that seminar, are going to be talking about what nutritional deficiencies may be contributing to those health factors. I invite you to come. You can bring your friends and family and anyone else who is interested in how to support their heart, cholesterol, and blood pressure naturally. As always, there are several ways that you can contact me. The first way is through Facebook. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/natural.health.clinic. And you can like us on that page. There's always quite a bit of information, different videos, and even the audio recordings of this show that you can tune into. We also have our YouTube channel, which you can search on the YouTube page, NutriDoc35. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and also get our videos uploaded immediately. As they are uploaded immediately, you can tune into those as well. And then finally, we have our email for this show. It's radiocomments@healthimprovementprograms.com. Again, it's radiocomments@healthimprovementprogram.com. Also, if you would like to RSVP for the free health seminar that's coming up this Tuesday, you can always call Tanya at the front desk. That number is area code 361-575-4683. Okay, so we have some very interesting health news this morning. We're going to go right into that. And then a little bit later, we have some interviews that I think that you're going to find very interesting. But first, let's talk about the health news. And just this past week, there was a study that was released through WebMD that actually linked rice consumption to diabetes. And basically what they found was that white rice, if it was eaten, created quite an insulin surge. And over time, this was shown to create diabetes type 2. So that is another good reason why I always recommend to my patients to actually work at eliminating grains. So it's not just rice that is going to be doing this, but also different forms of wheat and corn. Corn is also very, very high in sugar. It's almost 30 to 40% sugar, similar to rice. So that's a very interesting new study that just came out this past week. Another one, this was on Fox News, says junk food can make young men infertile. Let me repeat that. junk food can make young men infertile. So if it makes young men infertile, I don't think the old guys have much of a chance. What do you think? So what this goes on to say, it was actually a Harvard University and University of Murcia, which is southeastern Spain. There were fertility doctors that analyzed the sperm from hundreds of men ages 18 to 22. And they found that those who ate a high proportion of junk food had poorer quality sperm than those with a nutritious diet. So always remember, for those couples who are having problems with fertility, that it takes two to make a baby, and it's not always only the female who is having the fertility problems. Actually, I have helped many different couples on a health improvement program realize their dreams of having children when everything else had failed for them. So that is another advantage of a health improvement program. The next bit of news is actually an article, a recent article through Prevention Magazine. It talks about a pretty interesting subject. One of the things that we do with the health improvement program is identify different interferences to your body's natural ability to heal itself. One of those interferences can be chemical toxicities, and that is one thing that we always test for during a nutritional analysis. What this article talks about is that there are actually many forms of petroleum that are actually in our food supply. In fact, here is the synopsis of what it says as far as what can occur in our food. It says that the pesticides found in different foods are from petroleum or oil-based products. There's an increasing number of food additives and colorants that are petroleum-based. Commercial fertilizers that are used to grow the crops and are ammonia-based and produced from natural gas, another petroleum product. Also, oil that's allowed for farming implements such as tractors, food storage systems, refrigerators, food transport systems are all utilizing petroleum, and sometimes these can leak into the food sources. Also, there's a problem with hydrocarbons within the food supply because these can actually be contaminated during transport. In fact, the average U.S. piece of food is transported almost 1,500 miles before it gets to your dinner plate. So there is a lot of potential for there to be hydrocarbon contamination within many of the foods that you consume. And then finally, this is from the Atlantic newspaper. The headline of the study is "Stress Makes You Sick: Exploring the Immune System Connection." And what they have found is pretty much what the title indicates, that if a person is under stress for a prolonged period of time, that has a significant impact to their immune system, and they will either be quite a bit more prone to infections of different degrees, or they can even wind up with some kind of illness, oftentimes autoimmune. They go on to talk about cytokines, which are actually immune cells that tend to promote inflammation, especially one that's called interleukin-6, and these dramatically increase after stressful events. So you can imagine if a person is under prolonged stress. See, the way the body is designed is that you have a stressful event, and then you can relax until the body is ready to deal with the event again. If you think about our ancestors, before the age of modern man, they may have had different things that were stressful to their bodies that they had to deal with, wild animals, different warring tribes, and so they dealt with those situations. They were very stressed, and then they went for a long period of time of which they were living their lives, gathering food, eating, raising their families, and etc., things that were not necessarily as stressful, allowing their bodies to wind down. Now, fast forward to our modern age, and what do we have? We have continuous, unrelenting stress, constantly. And if we're not actually in a stressful situation, what are we doing? Well, we're probably thinking about the stressful situations that we had at earlier dates. And so we are actually creating our own stress in those situations, and here is the rub. The rub is that our body has no way of identifying if we are actually in that stressful situation or if we're just thinking about it. The body has the same reaction in either case. So this is a very important and interesting study, and it really behooves us to make sure that as much as possible we try to mitigate and combat stress that our bodies are continually inundated with on a daily basis. All right. So I have here in studio with me today Tani. Tani has been a patient for some time, and she has come forward because she has done so extremely well on a health improvement program that she wants to share with others her experiences and the different things that she has learned about her own health. And so let me just turn it over to Tani. Let me have her introduce herself. So tell the listening audience who you are, Tani.
Yes, my name is Tani. I am 63 years of age. I am presently at home. I am not working at this time. I had some health issues, and I have been on a program to improve those.
Excellent. So would you be willing to share with the listening audience basically what your health story was before you came to see us at the Natural Health Clinic?
Absolutely. Actually, my decline in my health began in 2007. I am a mother and a wife, a grandmother. I had a very job that was very stressful. I'd done it for a number of years.
So there's that stress again we just talked about in that new study.
Yes, I was listening, and that absolutely applies to the progress in the decline in my health. So I had some health issues. I went with some doctors and tried to improve those situations and continue working and living my life, very, very busy life. And it just began to get worse, and for 2 or 3 years, I was very ill.
So you started seeing physicians, is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. And during that time period that you were under care of these different physicians, you're trying to identify the different problems, your health was still declining?
Yes.
Okay. And so what was the eventual outcome just before that you came to the Natural Health Clinic? At that time, your health was declining, and was there any diagnosis going on at that time period?
Yes. I had a diagnosis of some viral infections, but as it turned out, I had the temporal lobe arteritis and vascular condition, and I was on several different medications, which the side effects were pretty strong. Did not care for some of the things that were happening with that, but I stayed on the program with the medical doctors, hoping that my health would improve.
And instead, your health was continuing to decline.
Yes, it was. And I had to leave my job and stay at home and try to figure out how to get better.
What to do, huh?
Yes.
So how did you hear about the Natural Health Clinic?
Actually, my daughter was referred by a very good friend of hers, and she began to come to the health clinic, and I began to see results in her, and she wanted me to go to a seminar, which I did, and made an appointment, and I began to see laboring at the health clinic.
So your daughter's results are what motivated you to see if you could get some help through natural health care.
Yes. I was a little not sure about that, but as I began to see her improve and her attitude and her health, I realized that this might be something that I need to look into.
Interesting. So kind of leading into that, what was your first experience like when you walked through the doors of the Natural Health Clinic?
Well, I was a little apprehensive, but I went through the doors and I was made to feel very welcome, very professional atmosphere, very nice facility, very nice offices, and the people made you feel very welcome and at home.
Excellent. Very good. So once you got on a health improvement program, how long did it take before you started noticing that you were just feeling better?
It was about, I'm going to say maybe about 4 weeks, about a month, when I realized, hey, there's something going on here, and I need to be real open-minded to this program and see what I can do with it.
So things were changing.
Absolutely,
You
yes.
couldn't put your finger on it, but something was different there.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So one thing that I want the listening audience to understand is that natural health care is very different than going to your conventional medical doctor. So with that in mind, how would you describe a health improvement program to those listening?
Well, to start with, it teaches you about yourself, number one. It targets the areas where you are showing some weaknesses or where your body is definitely in need of some improvement.
Some nutritional support.
Absolutely. And it guides you to learn how to change up your eating program.
Good, yes. That's actually one thing I remember during one of our nutritional analysis, that you had mentioned how you really finally learned how much food affected your health. Could you tell those listening about that?
Yes, I went on a program and I worked very diligently on the foods that I was eating. I did a lot of research, and with Labron's help and teaching me the foods that I needed to remove from my diet, I began to notice that when I left those foods out, I didn't have some of the symptoms. And when I would decide that, or inadvertently, those items were in some of the foods I was eating, my symptoms would, within 30 to 45 minutes, an hour, I could tell that I'd eaten a food that I should not have.
Wow, so your body was obviously sensitive to those things.
Yes.
And it told you that right away.
It told me right away.
It helped you prove it to yourself, didn't it?
Yes.
So what do you think is the most important thing that you've learned so far about your journey to whole spectrum health?
I have learned that there is a way to improve your health naturally through the foods that you're eating. And with the food supplements, your body can heal. And I've learned that in the progress of a few months, and I noticed that if I do slip a little, that when I get right back on my program, my improvement comes back. And it's not as hard as people sometimes think. It's not as difficult, and it's a very acceptable program if you're willing to improve your health. It takes some work, but I'm here to tell you today that if you're not feeling well and if you want to get better and live a more fuller life and take some of the stress out, improve the foods that you're eating, this is the way to go.
Thank you very much, Tani. You did very, very well, and I'm sure that the listening audience really enjoyed listening to your experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Tani. Thank you. All right. So you heard it from the very source, patients themselves. In just a minute or two, you're going to be hearing another patient interview. Her name is Cheryl, and she's going to be very interesting to listen to, and her health odyssey as well. Before we get into that, last week I mentioned that we were going to be talking about dangerous grains, and it's interesting that during this past week, that study that I mentioned as far as what's in WebMD about rice came out, but that very much is just an example of how much grains can affect our health. And that's actually one thing that Tani was referring to as the foods that she could tell were affecting her. And when she eliminated those from her diet, she actually felt better, much better. And then either when she just kind of wanted to prove it to herself if these foods really had any effect on her health or not, or perhaps some of these different substances were inadvertently in the foods that she was eating. However it was, she ingested these things, and very rapidly she noticed a change within her, the way that she was feeling, her well-being. So if we have some time this morning, I will get more into how grains specifically affect our health. If not, we will carry that into next week, because it is a very, very important matter that if people just follow that one thing, eliminating some of these more dangerous grains from their diet, just that, they would be quite amazed how much better they would feel. Okay, so in studio now we have Cheryl, and so I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl, let her introduce herself. So tell the listening audience who you are, Cheryl.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Pollock, and I came to see Labrin by some references that I was a little skeptical about.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah. I had lots of friends that had that I attributed their good health that went to see Labrin to them just having the skinny gene or the healthy gene, and of course I had the unhealthy gene.
Yeah, we know it's genetic.
Exactly. And I blame a lot of my problems in the past on that. However, on my first visit, I came to realize that I had the wrong approach and that I was willing to give this a shot.
So let's back up just a bit. Tell, if you would like, the ones listening, what was some of your health concerns? What difficulties in your health were you experiencing?
Some I was aware of, and some of my health concerns I wasn't even aware of when I first came to you.
Oh, that's interesting.
I was overweight. I had what I thought was arthritis.
So you were having joint pain?
Tremendous joint pain.
Tremendous joint pain.
I was probably taking 2 to 3 pain relievers a day. And also I was taking like chondroitin because I thought that would help.
Right.
Although it didn't.
And it didn't, right.
No. And I had, I would say, a lot of nervous habits. I was a huge nail biter. Had tried to stop for over 20 years. Couldn't stop that. Just a lot of nervous tics, hair twisting, that kind of thing. Okay. So,
so
I kind of across the
anxiety.
board. Anxiety.
Okay.
Exactly.
Anxiety and stress. Okay. So just different things were going on. You didn't have a good sense of well-being. You just didn't feel well. Would that be fair to say?
I had felt like that for so long that I thought I felt well.
Oh, I see. That was normal.
That was my normal.
Okay.
I had forgotten what it felt like to feel good every day.
Did you hear that, guys? To the ones listening, you would be amazed how many individuals come into me every day and feel exactly the way Cheryl has just described. They think that the things that they're experiencing is just part of the aging, and they're only 31 years old. But it's sad that the way that the state of health is, at least in this nation today, is that we just accept things that make us feel bad as normal. They are not normal. What they are is common, but that is a far cry from the same thing as normal. So, Cheryl, would you share with those listening what your first experience was like with the Natural Health Clinic?
I kind of went in as a skeptic. I did not want to believe that something as easy as changing your diet could alleviate all the problems.
So it's too simplistic.
Too simplistic. I thought I needed pills, or else I had to exercise, 5 to 7 hours a day, or
maybe some surgery somewhere.
Some surgery. That was an option at that point. I just felt like this was too simplistic, but at the point that I had nothing to lose, so I gave it a shot. When I went in and spoke to you the first time, I immediately realized that this was going to be a journey and not a 6-week plan, not a 10-week plan. It was going to have to be a change in lifestyle.
So are you saying it wasn't a silver bullet?
It was not.
Oh, gosh. I'll keep working on that.
However, my 1-year anniversary will be March 30th. And to have the kind of results that I've had in a year, I would never have imagined. Not in my wildest dreams would I have thought I would come from where I came last March 30th to where I am today, and where I foresee myself as being in the next year or years to come. So I've had very good results.
Wow, that's powerful, very powerful. So how long did it actually take for you to start noticing any changes in the way that you were feeling?
I would say, for me, the pain stopped after you took me off some of the things that I was eating that I thought were healthy. Within 2 weeks, I noticed a tremendous change in things that, like I said, that I didn't realize I needed help with, like my digestion, my energy level.
And was it you didn't realize you needed help in because you had come to accept that as normal?
I thought that was normal.
Okay, all right.
I thought it was normal by 3 o'clock to feel like you needed a nap.
Understood. Or 6 gallons of coffee.
Exactly.
Okay.
That was just my lifestyle. That's
Right.
what I thought was normal.
Right. So let me make sure I understand this. So you're saying that there were some food sensitivities found, and once you eliminated those from your diet, that within a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, you noticed relief with that joint pain.
Almost immediately, yes.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible. So now, one thing that I want the listening audience to understand is that natural health care is different than going to a conventional medical doctor. So you're not going to get poked and prodded and different things like that. So with that in mind, how would you describe a health improvement program?
I would say that it's effective, it's easy, you have quick results, you feel better almost immediately, you're not a slave to taking medication, which is wonderful because of the side effects of taking those medications that you don't even realize you're used to that side effect, so you think that is normal.
And you may not even realize that some of the health concerns that you're having might be induced by the side effects of those medications.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I haven't taken any pain reliever in 9 months.
Wow.
I haven't taken a single over-the-counter or prescription medication in 6 months, 6 months.
So it sounds like you have learned that you actually have control over your health and the way that you feel. Would that
Absolutely. There was a little plaque in your office that I see, and it reminds me, it says, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." And that always, at first I thought that is absolutely too simple. Today I believe it wholeheartedly.
Socrates or Hippocrates may have known what he was talking about, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So what would you like those listening to know about a natural health program?
I think what is most important to me when people ask me, because I'm at the point now where people ask me all the time, what are you doing? I've had such a tremendous physical change. And I always tell them that the most important part of this life change for me has been that it is so simple. It is the easiest program I've ever been on. And if it's been on TV, I've been on that program. And this is so simple and so easy and so fulfilling that if you haven't tried a natural approach to your health, then in my opinion, you haven't tried any approach to your health. Because in my opinion, this is the only proven, effective way to control not only my weight, but all the other health and emotional and all the other issues that I have been treated by a natural nutrition-based program. That's so simple.
It is simple, isn't it?
It's
It really
very,
is.
very simple.
So what it basically sounds like is that you have been educated in how to care for yourself.
Absolutely.
And that is simple, isn't it?
It's a common sense approach.
What a thought, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, very good, Cheryl. Thank you very much for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you. So there you heard it, folks. That was Cheryl, and she has had and continues to have extremely good results with the Natural Health Improvement Program. So what do you need to know in order to improve your health? What things do you need educated upon so that you start gaining control over your own health? Now, natural health care, in fact, any form of health care, regardless if it's natural or not, is not going to be able to take care of everything. But there are such simple ways of improving your health that so many people have no idea about that can dramatically impact their health for the better. They're simple. They are even easy. All you have to do is make the proper choices, but first, you have to have the proper education. Now, one of the ways, again, that you can get that education, of course, by listening to this program, Health Alert, but also you can come to one of our free health seminars and get started on your journey to whole spectrum health. So tune in next week to Health Alert, and we're going to discuss dangerous grains. Thanks for listening.